Here again, we're on day number 212, Isaiah chapter 13 through 17. That's 5 chapters. We have Aiden with us today. Aiden, say hi. Hi. Are you leaving me? Oh, there we go. So we haven't seen Aiden in a while. Aiden, I'm going to need you not to be so noisy, okay? So guys, Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah. Remember, as you read Isaiah, he is a prophet delivering messages from the Lord, right? Now get this, throughout Israel. He's talking about judgment, though. Judgment to Babylon, judges to other areas like other nations like Moab, Syria, Assyria, all of them. But then there's some confusing parts to me when it talks about Babylon, right? And then there's this other thing where I'm like, are they talking about Satan now? So guys, Lord, help us to understand your word, right? So get this. Prophet Isaiah talking about the Babylon destruction. And he says the land will be made desolate. Aiden. All sinners will be destroyed. And it says the Lord will punish. This is the part right here, because we were just talking about Babylon. But it says the Lord will destroy the world for its evil. And he says the wicked will be destroyed as well for their sin. But then it goes back and says any Babylonians captured will be cut down and their little children killed before their eyes. Isn't that something? So at one point it talked about the entire world going to be punished for their wickedness. Now we're talking about Babylon, and we know Babylon to the children of children of Judah. And it's talking about where it's going to happen to the Babylonians. And so then it says God's going to stir up the Medes to go against Babylon. So now we know we're talking about the local Babylonians, right? The Medes are going to attack them, and get this, there's nothing the Babylonians can do. You can't even bribe them. They're going to kill the young men, and they will have no mercy on the children, on the babies. So yeah, God will destroy Babylon like he did Sodom and Gomorrah. Isn't that something? Then it talks about how God's going to bring back God's chosen people. Because remember, they're going to be in exile. He's going to bring back God's chosen people. People from other nations are going to join them. And those who captured Israel, isn't that something? Will themselves be captured. Israel will rule over them. Now look at this part right here. This is when I think they were talking about a greater scale. During this time, God will give them rest from their sorrow, from their fear, from slavery, and from chains. Is it during the time that they are brought back from exile, or are they talking about in the end times? Well, when you think about it, when the exiles went back to Jerusalem, they were given some rest from those things, but we're talking about all of Israel. So, guys, so look at this right here. This part right here, when I said that at some point somebody talking about Satan, at that point Lucifer, Satan. How you are fallen from heaven, O shining star, son of the morning. You have been thrown down to earth, you who destroy the nations of the world. And you say, I will descend to heaven, my throne, set up his throne above God. So I'm thinking they're talking about Satan and Lucifer around that time. Yeah. And then it goes back and talk about Babylon. So it's confusing to me. It really is. I'm not going to even play with it. It's the truth. It's confusing to me. It talks about, how he's going to break the Assyrians, the ones who are living in Israel. And the Lord says he has a plan for the whole earth. A hand of judgment upon all nations. And who can stop him? Who can stop God, right? And so he goes through these different nations like Philistines, right? Philistines. And he said they will be wiped out through famine. And then the remains will be destroyed as well. The remnants will be destroyed. Moab, they will be destroyed. The people will seek their shrines. They'll fast. They'll cry out in distress. Lions will be destroying the survivors. Yeah. So when their oppression and destruction ends, raiders, look at that, they will be destroyed as well. God will establish one of David's own. Isn't that something? One of David's descendants as king. He will rule with mercy and truth. So I'm like, are we talking about the end times now again? Because we're talking about, I'm thinking Jesus at this point. Yeah. Is it supposed to happen in our time, or is it once Jesus comes back for us? And then it talks about Moab. Moab will be ended within 3 years. Only a feeble few will live. Then it talks about Damascus, how they will become a heap of ruins. Even the fortified city towns of Israel, how they will be destroyed. And then, the royal powers of Damascus will end as well. Then it talks about Syria. Syria will share the fate of Israel. But you guys know Damascus, if I'm not mistaken, is in Syria. So we're still talking about Damascus and Syria. And it says here, they will share the same fate as Israel. Isn't that something? And it says Israel will be desolate. Only a few people will remain. And these last people will at that point look to their creator. Isn't that something? To our God, their creator. Our God, basically, their creator. And they will no longer seek those idols. Their largest, during that time, their largest cities will be like a deserted forest. So remember, there were so many people in the children of Israel. So many you couldn't even count them. You couldn't even count them. More than the stars in the sky, sands on the beach. And so now, even the largest city is going to be like a deserted forest. And then you ask why? But why, Lord? Because they turned from God, who saved them, and they forgot the rock who hides them. Isn't that something? The rock who shielded them, who took care of them, the one who saved them from so much. So, yeah, Isaiah is real. There's a lot going on here. And you guys can tell right now, I need to ask God for more understanding his word. When it talks about these different locations, are you talking about the end times? Are you talking about now? I know you're talking about the end of Babylonia. I already know that, of Babylon. I already know that. You even talked about the Medes, which we know the Medes did come up after the Babylonians. And you talked about certain things that happened in Israel. But then when you talk about David descendant taking the throne, and then, yeah. So there's a lot going on, guys. We just have to continue. We have to ask God to help us understand. And you can't always get it in that one read. There's always so much more you're going to learn about the Bible, in the Bible, about God, about how he does things. So, yeah, if you don't get it, you don't get it. Maybe you'll get it next time. And then next time, God will give you even a bigger revelation, even more revelation in his word. We just have to seek him for understanding. Okay, guys? So there we have it, guys. Day number 212, Isaiah chapter 13 through 17. You have a God-filled, blessed day.